Yo, what's going on, man? It's your boy Dane Diddy.
Ambitious Ace.
Bang Bang Boomerang.
Lovecraft Country. This show is produced by J.J. Abram and Misha Green and Jordan Peele.
Oh, the Jordan Peele.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, him. Okay. That guy. We never heard of him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's done a couple things.
Yeah, that's true.
Here and there.
Just a couple.
Funny guy, yeah.
So, where do we begin? We might as well just go ahead and begin at the very beginning where my man is dreaming. My man Atticus.
What a way to start a show, by the way. Right?
He's fighting in a war, and then a spaceship comes down, and I think her name is Jamie Chung. Yeah, Jamie Chung from The Real World, who's been excelling in acting. I don't know if you guys remember her from The Real World.
Yes.
Right, she's been killing the acting game since I've seen her in the first. She comes down as an alien. And then somebody comes in dressed as Jackie Robinson with a bat and kills an alien?
I don't know about y'all, but I'm sitting here geeked out over this whole premise. Just like, yo, this is some black sci-fi shit.
Bro,
like, all this going on.
This is like somebody telling you about their dream, and it's crazy.
Yeah.
On film. Like,
if there's a way to hook you to a show, this was it for me.
That was it.
Because I was just like, oh, I'm down for the ride.
Oh, I was 100% already on it.
I know, but just seeing that, like, you know, with the commercials and everything, we got little hints and teasers about what the show might revolve around. But I was not expecting an intro like that.
I was not.
Well, what really hooked me was when Attic got to Chicago. But before that, I just want to point out, apparently there was a short for Lovecraft Country. And a lot of the characters in this episode were part of the short.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
So Michael K. Williams was part of the short.
Okay.
Anjanae Ellis.
So is this something that I need to go watch?
I didn't find it. It was only like 12 minutes or something like that.
Okay. Dang.
So yeah, the Anjanae Ellis from When They See Us, who plays Hippolyta, she was in the short. Uncle George Freeman, he was in the short.
Okay.
The racist cop that pulled the guy over at the beginning, the guy that ended up dying, he was in the short.
Okay.
So a lot of the characters from that we see in this show were part of the short from like 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
From like 2000. Well, maybe it was 2018 or 2017.
So was this short aired? Or was it just available online? Or
I have no clue.
That's
maybe it was like what was used as like
a pilot,
a potential pilot idea.
Oh, I like that because this show really seems like the team stayed grounded to what they wanted to envision. Because I got that feeling the whole episode.
Oh, yeah, so that lady that we saw talking to Atticus on the back of the bus, she was in the short as well.
Okay.
So when I saw that, I was just like, oh wow, like. It's like they pretty much gave everybody that was part of the original short their flowers by saying, hey, we want you part of the main show.
That's nice.
So I thought that was dope that she was on the show.
Yeah, dope.
I've seen a lot of stuff of, Jim Crow South. I've read a lot about Jim Crow South. But it still doesn't do anything. It does something else to you when you see it.
Yeah. When
you're seeing people on the bus and they have a section that basically says coloreds have to sit back here and, whites have to sit up here. It just makes you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
But then when he arrives in Chicago, and this is the black belt part of Chicago, like if you've ever done any history on Bronzeville and the black belt of Chicago back when, blacks were working together in heavy group economics like they're trying to do right now, that was the Chicago that you envisioned. And I loved seeing that on film. Yeah. And it just gave you this nice, warm feeling. It felt safe. Like she said it in a podcast. It felt like a safe place. It felt warm. It felt like home. Seeing everybody enjoying each other, popping the water hose plug, the performance on the street.
Yeah.
It was such a dope vibe.
And I really love how they handled that scene as well. Like the music choice they had, even before the block party and everything, just the way it was all crafted. I was just like, this is amazing.
Yeah, it felt authentic.
Yeah.
It really did. You kind of felt like you was there the way they kind of shot it as well. So it was really good shooting.
How did y'all feel about your first impression of Atticus after the crazy scene? Because after, like, just seeing his posture and how he talked, I'm just like.
I love that when he was talking to Homegirl and then she said, you said he was an ex-Confederate soldier. Ain't no such thing as an ex-Confederate soldier. He fought for racism. I can't remember word for word what he said, but I
He had some
loved what he
bars.
said.
He had
Yeah,
some
yeah,
bars.
yeah.
He had
That's
some
that. It
bars.
was a bar from a song, and it was just like, yo, that was what he
Especially when he
said
was
was
talking
deep.
about his love for stories and books and everything. I forgot exactly what he said, but it hit me so hard. He was just like talking about imagination and all that stuff like that. I don't know, just his character from the get-go just grabbed me. And kudos to the actor because he's acting in something else recently.
Jonathan Major.
He's acting in something else recently that he was in that I haven't really watched, so I want to watch it too.
White Boy Rick.
Not that. It was something after that.
Okay.
But yeah, from the get go, he really just captured me. I was just like, I'm really interested in this character.
Yeah, and the way he moves, it feels authentic.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
Like if I was to say, yeah, this is back in the day, he got back in the
With
day
the
energy.
glasses on and everything. Yeah.
The posture, you
Yeah.
know, he's kind of like prideful. Like you can kind of sense all that.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
I guess he used to be a nerd back when he was younger.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you can kind of see that. I think they did a good job with casting him as a character.
Yeah. Most
Yeah,
def.
absolutely. And I love that whole dynamic when you see him and you see him meet up with his Uncle George and
Yeah.
Hippolea,
Yeah, I love
and then you
Uncle
meet
George.
his little Hippolea's daughter Diana,
Yeah.
which is his cousin, I guess. And just that whole sense of family, and then you find out that their family is in a they sell the Green Book.
Yeah. That.
Which, if you guys aren't
Yeah.
aware of what the Green Book is, it was a book that was used for Black people to travel safe in dangerous areas, so they can know
That's what that
what
was.
hotels to stay at.
Okay.
So that's why Uncle Ben or George wanted to go on a trip, because he's like, well, we got to check up, make sure all of these places is still good to go and
Yeah.
are still safe to stay at, safe to stop for gas. And I just
Wow.
loved that whole aspect. Don't go ahead and don't go watching the Green Book movie and think that's the tell all end of the Green Book, just because the family that the guy that Marshala played disowned the whole movie. They were just like, y'all making up stuff. He knew what chicken was and y'all tripping.
Yeah.
Y'all doing the white savior complex. But at the end of the day, y'all should definitely check out what a Green Book was. It's an interesting story. I love that whole aspect of like the dynamic of that whole family.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I really loved it, man. It really brought a lot of like just weight and authenticity to the characters, man. I felt like they did a great job of setting the stage for all these characters that we're about to get to know over the season, and just just the world building that it was doing from the get go. I think that was just really impressive, and especially when they introduced Letty. Her character, man, from the get go,
bad.
she was strong out the like just how she came in, started singing with her sister and everything like that. You could tell from just their dynamics on stage how their relationship was, because she was just like, oh, you ain't about to steal the spotlight from me, and everything like that. But I like how they introduced her.
Oh my gosh, man. It kind of made me feel like the stories I heard about my grandma. You
Yeah.
know? Like, oh, I could see her being that type of person. Like, just everybody loves it, but deep down she probably, get on everybody's nerves as far
Yeah.
as a family.
Yeah.
Like, I thought that was so cool. And like this is kind of placed in like the Jim Crow era, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how they're painting that picture to where it's really tough to see those areas, like how tough it is, like the whites only and things of that nature. But they do a good job of kind of showing that and allowing these guys to kind of live in that space and not like center on it. Like you can,
Yeah.
it's like it's like in the background and you can pick up on it. But
Because
the
Chicago
story,
was super segregated.
yeah,
It's the way
It
that,
still is too. So they were in the south side of Chicago, which is still predominantly Black to this day.
yeah.
So if you don't understand why, it's called redlining, and you can definitely look it up.
but I'm with you on that because I love the way they approached that too. It's like they didn't throw it in your face like this is racist, this is this,
Yeah.
but it's the way that they chose to show it on camera. Like this is the time that this is the world that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
This is what's going on. But the way they showcased it, it was really, really phenomenal.
The scene with the bus,
Yeah,
we knew he wasn't gonna get on that.
No.
yeah,
But the
I was
way-
just like, I was like, even if you ask, they're gonna look at you like you
Yeah, what you
crazy.
talking about?
yeah.
But they shrugged it off like, like they knew too. Like,
Yeah, like
we-
whatever. We're gonna walk.
Yep.
We're gonna walk
We're
it
gonna
out.
wait till they pull off, and then we're just gonna walk.
It was just the mannerisms. Like he looked at him, looked back, looked at him. Yeah, let me just go ahead and help her with her stuff because we about to walk.
Yep. The scene with the banana and the monkey. I'm not sure if you remember.
Yeah.
He threw the pill at the guy. Like it wasn't like, oh, put my head down and just walk away.
Yeah.
Like nah, there was an interaction. You
Yeah.
know. Like I just really like how they kind of play with both those worlds. It's really segregated, but these are actual,
Well, that was when they were heading throughout.
Yeah.
down south. Yeah, true.
Nah, I don't even think they were going
No,
south.
they were
going to
going
Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Oh, Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's not even south. I mean, that just lets you know it wasn't all peach and creamy in the north either.
No,
Yeah.
goodness, man.
So I love, like, Maybelle was about to sing. She didn't want to invite her sister up.
Yeah.
It's that dynamic. Your sister's more popular than you. You
telling
kind of didn't want her to take the spotlight. That was interesting. She needed a place to stay.
Yeah.
You could see that her and her sister don't really get along. You can see the dynamic. They even mentioned it in a podcast of, like, her sister's really, I can get that job downtown. She's like, I've been trying for months. And it was just that whole colorism thing back in the day.
And I was going to bring that up. I didn't want to.
They said it on the podcast for
they
the show
said
that was 100% what it was.
So my grandma, that's why I heard stories about that. My grandma was fair skinned, right?
Okay.
And I guess her sister wasn't, and they always had arguments because of that. My grandma ended up becoming a nurse, having those good jobs, and there was a sense of jealousy that was in my family.
Well, the one thing they said in the podcast that I always found interesting, because it makes 100% sense, is that even though your relative might be a different complexion than you, it's not really a beef between you two. You guys still love each other. It's just when you're in the real world where you're judged by the white world, where that incident comes into play.
Yeah.
So it was almost the same thing there. But I love that whole interaction. You get to see Letty's more of a rebel.
Yeah.
She
early
has the
on.
free spirit. Yeah.
She's one of those.
She ain't afraid to talk her shit right in front of you. Make you correct yourself and everything.
Yeah. And we get to see her a little bit, her interaction with her sister. But what the more interesting things with her came in to play when we saw Atticus basically figuring out where his dad was at, where he was going to go get him. And then we see Letty was going along with the ride from the jump.
Yeah.
That's when it's kind of like, oh, okay, so this is going to be dope. And I love the way that when they go on the road trip, they play a James Baldwin quote.
Yeah.
I was like,
deep.
wow.
And the significance around it and everything they were showing, it transitioned and it really had a nice flow to it. That's the thing, because it's just like not only you're throwing in the quote, but you have so many significant scenes to get behind that quote. And it was just a really well executed scene. Like the whole show, I'm just like, they nailed that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what it mattered the most. Is just like the direction behind every scene was really well thought out.
Yeah, dead seriously though, because they killed that. I love the way they did the whole thing. And I've been listening to a lot of James Baldwin lately anyway, so it just fit with how I've been living my life, listening to James Baldwin. And then they throw a James Baldwin quote. As soon as his voice came on in the show, you ask her, I was just, oh, it's James Baldwin. I can't believe they're using a James Baldwin quote in the show. Like, that's pretty dope, just because I've been hearing his voice so much lately.
Yeah.
And just seeing the fact that, and they mentioned it on the podcast, like, when we started getting into the point where we started seeing strange. Actually, let me back up a little bit. When they went to the first town where they thought they had a place that the Green Book said was safe, and they go into the restaurant.
Yeah.
Letitia Wright kind of just like Letty. She kind of looked at homegirl like when she walked by the white girl. She like put her glasses down and looked at them. They went in and sat down. Like, I wouldn't have wanted to be there from the jump, just because when they walked in, it was like, hey man, can we get some menus? The white guy that was at the counter stopped eating his food. And left. And it was just like, the energy here is mad negative. Like, I don't even want to be around.
As soon as I would have been like, cross this place off the list. Do not go here.
Yeah, but then we see Letty go to the bathroom.
Dope scene.
She listens in on the thing.
Bro.
And my favorite part of the episode was when she ran out of the bathroom. Get your asses up.
Get the fuck out of here.
My man reached for the peppermints. The uncle.
But I also, that little detail about the White House, I never known that.
It's like, I knew about it, but I forgot.
I was just like,
but the way they presented it there was in a way that you won't forget it again.
Oh,
yes.
They showed it?
Yes. It was just like, that's never going to get out my head now.
Oh, saying they burned the old place down.
Yeah.
Replaced it with, dang.
And it was just like, good gosh. But yeah, that whole transition was crazy. That whole chase scene was phenomenal.
That was dope.
She was commanding everything. Man.
And then we saw a gray car speeding to the right.
Yeah,
that's when I just started like, Oh, I love this show.
I was like, what's happening?
She turned and then the cars flipped without even touching her car.
That was crazy.
The moment I saw that, I was just like, "Yep, I'm locked in for the season."
But then I don't know if you guys caught it. I didn't catch it until I rewatched the scene, like when I watched the episode for the second time.
Mm-hmm.
Is that's the car that Atticus basically said, like when he went to talk to the guy that worked at the restaurant, like I ain't, hey, I know you. You used to come here and carry your dad out from being drunk.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah, some white people came and got your dad. They were in
That's
a
the
silver.
same car he was talking.
They
You
were in a
right?
silver car.
Okay.
Wow.
That was really fancy.
Okay.
And it was the same car. Apparently, she caught it the first time, but I
Okay.
didn't.
Good
But
call.
we see Homegirl jump out and just look at him, and that's the same car we saw parked at the end of the episode.
Yep. Oh yeah, I caught
house.
that. Now I caught that, but I didn't caught the reference in the beginning. So good call on that.
Y'all blow my mind right here. Wow.
I'm telling you, man, this episode did a lot of things right, man. A lot of things right. But I was hooked from that.
So we see Letty arguing with her brother, and we
Yeah.
can see that her relationship with all her siblings is fucked.
Oh yeah. We all got that sibling.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? We could be one of those siblings. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And then we get to the part of the episode that got really interesting. So they start going through a sundown town, and they keep following the same area because they're trying to find an off road, right? Then we start seeing, the cop shows up. And soon as the cop shows up, tell me y'all guys like stomach didn't drop because it's just like y'all know that energy.
Bro, I was just like, oh no, this whole thing is just like,
Especially because of the time period y'all in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is not good.
And it's just like, why did y'all sit right here? Like, why did y'all get out right here in the middle of nowhere in some woods?
Why did y'all turn the car off?
That too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that just had me like, all right, man, what's about to go down?
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. I'm like, man, it's bad here. I can't imagine how it was back then. You know?
Yeah,
So like,
yeah.
So the cop gets mad racist,
Yeah.
makes him pretty much try to degrade himself to let them go. They only got a couple minutes to beat the son. They beat it, but little do they know is that he called his cops over, or his cops that live in the next county over, to pull them over.
And that whole scene, just fighting the sun down.
I was on the edge of my seat,
It
and
gave me
I wanted
chills.
to jump up
Oh,
and cheer
But no, it's
once
just
they
it
beat
just
it.
gave me literal chills because this is a show that we're watching.
By the way, there are still sundown towns in the United States.
Yes.
Wow.
Still, currently.
But just the idea,
Some of them are in Florida.
the idea of that, just knowing that that's an actual thing that we had to go through.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
is horror in itself, And it's just like they were just looking at the sun like, oh, is it time? We got enough time? Oh, then when he got behind them, they couldn't speed.
And then he keeps ramming into the back
God,
of the
that
car.
was so
Crazy.
scary, man.
They
Crazy.
beat it. They get caught. They get dragged into the woods. They're pretty much about to kill him. And then we start hearing some strange noises. Now, had I not seen the trailer, I would have been completely thrown off.
This was in the trailer?
Yeah.
I didn't remember it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause I
It was
didn't
in
remember.
it was in a trailer showing that like some monsters started dragging people off. Because I'm just thinking like, just imagine watching the show without seeing a single trailer.
I mean,
It
did
would've
they
threw
show
you
the
off.
monsters in the trailer?
No.
Okay, well,
Okay.
I don't
No,
remember.
you just saw them running and screaming and
I don't know about y'all, but the detail in those monsters, all the damn eyes,
yeah, them eyes.
had me bugging. Shit, they had
I
me.
was scared.
It threw me for a loop, man, because I think what really made me so sold on the show is just like the budget for this is accurate.
Oh, it's on.
I love that they gave
Awesome.
this show the required budget because they didn't look cheap. They didn't look, intimidating. They look scary as hell. All right.
Yeah, they
So
cast
I
those
thought
monsters.
kudos to the graphics team on this because man, they outdid themselves.
Yeah, I felt that same intensity you're talking about. I
Yeah.
felt the same exact thing.
So we see them run off. They get into the house. I was scared for Uncle George. I ain't
I
gonna
was
lie.
scared.
Man,
I thought he was
far.
gonna die.
He's my favorite character so far. I love his character. I was like, please.
Because he
don't.
had to talk with his wife, and I'm like, oh, he about to die.
I was like, it's over with.
He talked with his wife, his daughter, and everything like that. And,
He's looking at the comic book from his daughter.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man.
I love the fact that she had a comic book,
Yeah, I
too.
love that aspect as well.
I thought that
I
was
really do, and I hope that I feel like there's going to come back to that sometime. I feel like there's going to be something with his daughter. I just have a feeling
Hope so.
because she's a talented artist.
Yeah.
So they all break out. They get to this house.
Yeah.
The cop got his arm bit off. I don't even know how the hell he's still talking. He's inside of the house. Like they shoot their way into the house. They let him in. They're arguing, and they said it in the podcast. But it's just like, so you almost lost your life, but you still here being racist.
Still arguing.
Dang, like
It felt
You
authentic.
still out here. You still got time to be racist.
That felt authentic, man.
it's crazy.
Oh, it's
man.
100% because they mentioned it. Like, we got Corona going on, and you still finding time to be racist. Like, so I was just like, yo, shout out to the girls that do the podcast because they killed it. They whole critique of the show. I was like, yeah, I pretty much said what I was thinking when I watched the show.
Yeah.
But that whole interaction inside the house, and then them basically saying, look, it's got to be Letty that goes, and just Atticus like hyping her up real quick,
I loved it.
and then she hauled ass.
Listen, you don't understand that whole
She looked like a
scene,
track star, bro.
That whole breakdown, like
That was dope.
the way that he was just that's what made me love Atticus' character from the jump, is just the fact you can tell that he is somebody that just instills, try to encourage you any type of situation, no matter who you are. He brought her at peace at that moment, even though she was reciting that Bible verse.
Quote because he said something like, "I'm not scared because I know you're gonna save us." Because you're the only thing that can save us, or something along those lines. And that was really powerful.
Just that whole shot, man, just to see her sprinting.
She took off.
She took off, boy. I was like, yes, let's go. But from a show standpoint, I was just like, man, the way that they shot that scene, just the perspective of her running, and you can still see the monsters jumping from trees to trees. Amazing.
They killed that. I love him as a leader as well. Just the lines that they give him, it's like he knows where he's at.
Yeah.
And even that weird sense of everything that's going on that he sees there's monsters, there's racism, he still has a sense of peace and a sense of control. And I just thought that was so dope.
But another thing I pointed out when I saw it was just like noticing that situation, how calm and collected they were. And they wanted to find a solution.
Because they have and
they've already been through stuff like that.
That's what, like, you got to consider the fact that, like, even in time periods like that, black people were catching hell already. So panicking does not help.
Don't solve anything.
That's what I'm talking about. Exactly.
And that was so apparent to me in that scene.
It was death outside or death inside.
Everywhere.
Either way, they face death. So it's just like, you don't really have
a
choice.
ready. They ready for any type of situation they may come across. And at that time, you got him screaming like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this! Your arm is off."
Yeah, bro.
And you screaming,
"Shoot him!
Shoot him!"
It's just like,
why do I have to ask you?
Because I bet you every human being that was watching that show was like, if you don't shoot your partner,
oh man, that was such a dope scene though.
Something's
wrong.
wrong.
The homie. He's
Something wrong with him.
He's like, wait, maybe he's gonna rest. Maybe he
get out of here. Shoot him.
He's tired.
But yeah, I love how they executed that whole scene, man.
And tell me it didn't look beautiful when they pulled out the flare. So Letitia gets to the car, drives it through the house.
Yeah.
Hits the cop that was one of the monsters now. Yeah. They get all the flares out of the car, put Uncle George in front of the light so he's safe. And then they set up all of them red flares. That shot looks so dope.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden we hear a strange whistle and all of the monsters run away.
Oh my God.
And they make it out just fine. And we arrive at the house, and they tell Atticus, "Welcome home." And then it goes off. I was just like, I want more. Like,
and
right
they
now.
Successfully did. That's what you do with a pilot episode.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it, man. Like, from that scene, I don't know how many times the episode said, I love this. Oh, my God. But that right there, I was just like, yes. Give us something that... Because when I first saw the trailer, I had mentioned to Dame, like, oh, man, the first time I saw it, I thought this was going to be like another back slavery piece or something like that.
Yeah, man.
But they actually took something and molded it into something really wild that I was not expecting.
Yeah.
And the fact that it has black leads in it,
that's what makes
mixed in with sci-fi, I don't think many people understand why I'm so geeked about that. You always see us, like, no disrespect, I love sci-fi as a genre and everything like that. But there's always...
never see it from a black point of view.
You never.
And not done the right way. I don't think a lot of people are afraid to touch on these type of issues.
Yeah.
I would think, especially in the past, to be able to touch on these issues, because I've grown up, I'm pretty familiar with a lot of these things, so I can kind of connect to it. But this is like a breath of fresh air because I can talk about these things. I I can see it, I can feel it. Like the stories that I've heard, I can kind of relate and even learn some new things.
Yeah.
It's just really dope to have a really good representation of that, you know, because most people is usually extreme one way or extreme the other way. They found a good way to kind of let those two worlds coexist, and then they put sci-fi in it.
Yes. And to have a budget behind it to support that vision, that's everything, man. So I'm glad that J.J. Abrams, Misha Green, and Jordan Peele got behind this because, in my book, this is already successful.
Yes.
Yeah. And one thing I want to do is, man, look, I hadn't seen Jonathan Major in anything before, right? So I was just like, man, kudos to him. He killed it.
Yeah.
Journey Smollett, I haven't seen her. I've seen her in some stuff, obviously, when she was younger.
Yeah,
but I just want to give props to her because I see her in a lot of stuff, but I never actually watch it. Now I actually want to watch the Suicide Squad. Now I actually want to see her.
Oh, you mean
like,
Birds of Prey?
Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Now I
She's
want to
solid.
actually go back and watch Undercover because if she's this good of an actress,
She's good.
She's a phenomenal actress. It's
Yeah.
just sometimes the source material she's given is kind of whack. Like that one Tyler Perry movie, I ain't like her, but she acted her ass off.
she
in
did a good job in that movie. I felt bad for her, but
Yeah.
she killed it.
it. Yeah.
And I already knew about Anjanae Ellis because she killed When You See Us.
Yeah.
She played Corey Wise's father. She killed it. I'm curious to see how I feel about all the other characters going forward.
Yeah.
Because so far, this cast seems really good.
Spot on.
I have a question. Did you watch the preview?
No,
I did.
I
Did
turned
you?
it off.
I didn't want to.
I couldn't.
I turned it off.
Let it go.
You know me, man. I do not watch no previews.
Boy, I just.
They almost got me with the power preview. It was a commercial, and it was just like, how did you know Ghost was going to be there alone? I'm like, oh, what's
After this episode, I won't watch no more previews. But I just want to say, this preview, this show is about to get bigger than I even thought from this first episode.
Go ahead, HBO, green light season 2.
Yeah.
And if there were no
Yeah,
plans
hold it
for a
down.
season 2, let's just do like a different concept with new characters, like because
Hold
this
it
is just too good.
Yes. And while you're at it, you know, we love the show. So if y'all want to send us some
Yeah, just
episodes, you know,
that'd be cool.
we'll review it in advance.
or let us do some interviews. You know,
some, because we
Good
here.
idea.
yeah,
So
for sure.
hey, and y'all watching, let them know that TRC loves the show. All right,
Yes.
let them know that we love the show and that we would love to be on board.
Yes,
Yeah.
For real,
Super
for real.
fans.
man. Anything else?
If you're watching this and the second episode is out, please don't spoil in the comments
Please,
because our reviews will be a little bit delayed because of our recording schedule. So please don't spoil episode 2 because episode 2 will be on tonight.
best believe we'll have seen it.
Yes.
We just haven't recorded our reaction for it.
Yes. So please, in advance, don't spoil anything because I will be deleting comments if I see anything about episode 2.
Good call.
Yeah, just saying that.
All right, y'all, man. Check out Lovecraft Country if you have not seen it.
Please.
Follow the writers and producers and everybody that's involved with the show. Go check out the Lovecraft Country podcast.
Yes. Really dope.
Done by actual it's just good. Just check it out.
check it out.
It was an hour. At first, I was like, "Is this just the audio version of the episode?" Because it was like an hour.
Yeah.
But I was just like, "Oh, this is really
They
good."
talking.
Oh, they
Yeah, they
talking.
talking,
In
and it was good.
Everything. Just hearing it from a writer's perspective is really cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do
It's
it.
really cool.
And then, yeah, man. We'll see you guys next time, man.
All right, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.